What is shaken? Welcome to this episode of the Wind Up Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to give it a like and subscribe or follow the show wherever you're consuming your podcasts. You can also follow us on any of our social networks. That's on YouTube, Instagram, the Book of Face, and the social network formerly known as Twitter. The handle on all of those will be at MTGA Wines. You can head to our website, mtgawines.com. Scroll down to the bottom of that homepage. You can fill out the little form there and submit questions, ideas, and thoughts for the show to dive into in future episodes. While you're there, you can also find out a little bit more about us, our wines, and all the goings-on that we have around the country and, of course, here in the Napa Valley. Well, everybody, we're going back to the lovely news cycle, I guess. I guess this episode's not really the news cycle. It's just the social cycle of the wine industry and the happenings here within. While my better half and I were traveling, we're out of the country up in BC, British Columbia, Canada for a friend's wedding. Got away for a little vacation, got to enjoy our little time off. There's a little kerfuffle happening online between some of my favorite segments of the wine industry, and that's wine critics and somms / winemaker, I guess. It's hilarious to me to watch this stuff unfold. Number one, I hate it. We understand that. I mean, I understand from a marketing perspective, all press is good press. When you're stirring the pot and creating drama, you're going to get clicks, you're going to get impressions, you're going to get your name and everything out there. It just kind of is what it is. I can't, the BravoTV, nature of the bickering is just okay, I'm going to sit here, have my cocktail, and just kick back and relax. Our lemon tree had boomed, by the way. We had a bunch that we harvested 3 weeks ago. I'm trying to drink as many Sazeracs as I possibly can, which is literally one lemon peel at a time. It's tough work, y'all. But as delicious as that cocktail is, we'll save it for later. This happened on, I don't know if it was TikTok. I saw it on Instagram and kind of how this went down. And it was basically a winemaker, an owner of a wine project who was dissatisfied with the scores he got, posted it online. The reviewer got upset because he didn't have a subscription, and you're supposed to be able to post stuff like this. They fired back and forth for a little bit, and I think most of us were thoroughly entertained. We're like, oh, these are two segments of the industry that this kind of stuff, I'll sit here and watch this, it stinks to high heaven, but let's sit here and watch it. Let's watch the fireworks. Grab your bucket of popcorn and your hot dog. It's almost 4th of July, right? So let's just lean into it. If you guys want to check it out, you can go to Instagram, look up Patrick Cappiello. I might be mispronouncing that. He is the Somm, now winemaker of Monterey Cellars, who posted his scores from Jeb Dunnick. He's a guy that started a subscription-based publication. Similar to what Parker was doing back in the day when you had to subscribe to the Wine Advocate, and he doesn't not take in any advertising. That they're 100% independent and subscriber funded, like that. All right, cool, good stuff to be had there. The thing that I don't even know where to start with this, because if you go through and read some of the comments from Patrick's post in the back, and it's easy to see okay, now you're just being petty, you're upset about the bad scores you got, and that it's only a 13-point system, it's not a 100-point system. You have people from other podcasts and reviewers and people saying, oh, this is not how it should be done anymore, this is so antiquated. You have other people that are oh yeah, this is truly petty. Just because someone doesn't like your wine, you're having a fit about it. It's the back and forth is kind of hilarious. And again, I'm just sitting here kind of watching the world go by as these comments kind of have trickled in over the week. And I started thinking about it. I'm do I really need to address stuff like this? Is this really the thing that I want to stir the pot with? Is my dumbass opinion about which one of these individuals is in the right or in the wrong? Not really. But here we are. We're going to do it anyway. All right, so I think there's a few things. There's like 3 points I want to make. And I got to tell you that we like the third episode I ever did, all the way back in February of 2023, we titled it The Great Ratings Debate. Go back and listen to it. If you really want to have a deep dive into my thoughts on wine critics and wine ratings, please go listen to that. I can't remember how long it is. It's probably like around 40, 45 minutes or so. There's a link in the description. Go check it out if you really want my 2 cents. And I worked in marketing for a very large winery for years. I understand how this game is played, right? So go check that out. All right, like let's start with that. That'll give you a little background on how this game is played within the industry from a marketing perspective. And that's kind of where I want to that's where I kind of want to start this is this more of the wine critic, like just voicing his opinion, or is this more like a marketing play? And I think this is a beautiful moment where it's both. Now, I don't know Patrick. I don't know Jeb. I've certainly never submitted any of our wines to him. I've never had any of the Monterey wines. I know nothing about either of these people, other than what their social facing thing, is basically. We follow them because it's interesting. Actually, I don't even know if I follow Jeb, to be honest, but I do follow Monterey sellers. And I think Patrick, because, someone else, pointed out some of their posts to me. I was like, yeah, sure, we'll check it out. Listen, it's the only thing that scores are good for is marketing. And you have to understand, and this is to distill it down, is that it's all marketing. And it's subjective at that. Like you're asking for someone to provide their subjective opinion when you submit a wine. That's it. Period. Full stop. There's nothing else. And what you hope for from the winery side is that they give you some kudos, and you can use that as a reference point for your consumers or courting new consumers. Like that's kind of it. Like it's not immensely complicated, right? It's just not. I think it is an interesting tactic perhaps, or maybe it's just what was going to happen anyway, is for someone that gets ratings that they don't agree with, which, yeah, sure. I'd be probably a little bent out of shape if I got low scores, but I don't risk that because we don't submit our wines, because I don't care what any of these critics think. I care what you guys think, the people that actually drink our wines on a regular basis. We've never needed this kind of crutch when it comes to our marketing. And I understand why people are big on it and how it can help these brands that don't really have any pedigree. They've just hired whomever they've hired, and they're trying to push this ball forward and, create some sort of relevance within the wine industry. Like, okay, fine. I was literally, it's all just, they're just a marketing agent for you. And you're trying to, in essence, hire them by submitting samples or maybe subscribing to them. There are plenty of, reviewers, and this is why I do appreciate Jeb's site, is they call out like, hey, we don't accept advertising, we try and remain impartial. Like, okay, great, that's awesome, because there are plenty of places that don't do that, and you wonder why some scores are maybe a little bit better than you think they would be. Coincidence? I think not, right? But let me give you a little bit of I was at a lunch literally 2 days ago. I posted a photo of it. I'm not going to say who, because I don't want to put anybody on blast, but it's a bunch of industry professionals, tour company, a couple of winemakers, a couple of hospitality salespeople. And just someone kind of called out the ratings that they got on certain things. And that, here's how they're trying to get that 1 or 2 points more to go from 98 or 99 to 100. I'm sitting here like, there's not a single one of you around this table that actually truly give a shit about what that score has to say. None of you do. Like, we've all, like, everyone I know there, maybe I'm speaking out of turn. Maybe someone there really gives a shit and they're like, ratings are everything. Okay, fine. I guess that's just your opinion, man. But as far as I know, the people I know pretty well there, like, they're like, yeah, it's just a fucking score. Like, we don't care. But for marketing, yeah, it helps, And it's just, it kind of boggles my mind, because I'm sitting up there and I had this little mini epiphany of, okay, what, like, realistically, for these labels, maybe some of these brands that no one's ever heard of, maybe they're kind of these virtual brands that are from these, high net worth individuals that have a passion for wine, and they're trying to figure out who their competitive set is and their place in the industry. So they hire certain winemakers or consultants and marketing people, and they say, how do we compete with XYZ? We want to be the next this. And they go, well, this is where they play from a marketing perspective. Here's the scores they've gotten in the past and how their wines perform and their competitive set. And they're like, okay, well, if we get scores similar to them in the same, making the same varietal or blend, then I guess we can say, like, we're like, hey, we're making this level of quality of wine. We compete with the best of the best. I'm like, okay, like, that's not a bad way to rationalize it, right? Because if you're a relatively new brand with a lot of hired guns doing this stuff where you haven't, lived that life, your XYZ career provided you with tons of funds to do whatever you want with, and the wine business ain't gonna make or break the bank for you, then yeah, you want to figure out a way to be, like, relevant and established within this competitive set that you've created, or that you want to be a part of, I guess. I'm like, okay, cool. So, like, if you're going for that 90 plus, 95 plus, 98 plus rating, then yeah, you can say, okay, like, hey, if these guys are getting 98 points, so are we. We are as good as them. So it can be like a way to level the field, maybe, right? From a marketing perspective. But then you have to distill it down to, okay, well, you're not comparing apples to apples if you're going from someone like Jeb Dunnick to the Wine Spectator, to the Advocate, to Antonio Galloni, or Lisa, is it Lisa Peretti Brown, I think? You can't say, like, okay, well, Antonio Galloni really liked ours, but this person doesn't get their wines rated by him, so, that's not apples to, you have to have the same person rate your competitive set. Otherwise, the subjectivity of it all throws, like, that variable throws any level of comparison outside of a window. So from, like, the critic standpoint to, like, the marketing agent standpoint, like, I kind of understand where people are coming from, but then people, like, draw these really weird lines that they think connect them to these, really high-end brands or other things. I don't know. Like, that's where it's confusing to me. Like, people just leverage it in a way it's all spin. It seems like it's all spin to me, which is why we don't do any of this stuff. I've never done any of this stuff. It's something that, for anything that, like, for what I own and do, won't ever do, because it just doesn't make sense to me, right? Because a big part of that, and this is just a really quick point here, is that you're relinquishing some of your marketing power. But this gets into the point of, okay, you send in your wines for ratings or reviews, and you get scores you don't like. Sucks. Deal with it. No one gives a fuck that you don't like the ratings. You submitted your wines to a guy, the guy didn't like it. Now, you could go online and put an Instagram post out there saying, hey, we don't agree with these ratings. And it's only and go on the tirade of, it's only a 13-point scale and this and that, and oh, we need to, this needs to change or whatever. But why are you feeding the system you don't like? This is the sticking point, is when you relinquishing your marketing power to a marketing agent that is a wine critic, right? Sorry, like, you don't have control anymore. Now, my hypothetical in this is like, okay, if we ever started rating our Merlot, for example, and it got bad scores, I could probably call most people on our list and probably joke around about it. I mean, very similar to this Instagram post is like, oh, look what happened. And they'd be like, oh yeah, that's silly. Like, we love your wine. Like, we drink it all the time. We text you when we're drinking. I'm like, yeah, you absolutely do. It's hilarious that we got a bad score, because clearly that person doesn't know what they're talking about, because there's a lot of people that love what we do, right? So a little bit of that, like, crowd, like, you could, like, play into it like this, but when it starts to go down the rabbit hole of, like, petty, like, oh, this doesn't make sense, and it's not necessarily Patrick, of Monterio, saying some of this stuff, or all of it, but some of it. But it's other people in the comments going like, this needs to change and that needs to, and all this. I'm like, yeah, but you guys are part of the problem. You keep submitting your wines to people that you don't care about their opinion, as opposed to just relying on your consumers, the people that love what you do. Crowdsource it, use Seller Tracker. If you're into Vivino or one of the apps, lean into it, go for it. Ask people like, hey, if you have a bottle of wine, please review it. That would mean the world to us because we want your honest opinion. We don't give a fuck what these critics have to say because they're not you. They have their own taste buds. They're putting their stamp of approval of some sort or disapproval of some sort on it. And that might not be relevant to you. What's relevant to us is how much you, the consumer, the people that buy our wines on a regular basis and enjoy them. That's what we care about. So, that's the reason why we don't do it. And why I know many people don't do it is they do not want to relinquish their marketing power. Like, plain and simple, right? It's just then that makes sense. So again, like, it's pick a path and stick to it, right? If you're going to be, I'm trying to think of the right word to use here. If you're like stand by your convictions. If you disagree with wine ratings and what they do and how they affect the industry, then stop getting your wines rated. Find a different way to market yourself. It's an old, outdated style of doing things anyway. Like, fucking try something new. Sorry, I'm dropping a lot of F-bombs this episode because this is the kind of stuff that just frustrates me. It's like, come on, like, what are we doing here? Like, you're arguing on the internet like pestilent children, and you're still doing the thing that you don't like, and you have all the control in the world to not do that thing. I might have gone a little heavy on the bitters in that Sazerac. It's a little, but it's pretty solid. So, let's go back to this thing, right? So, this is, and I do appreciate kind of a little bit of the introspective nature of Patrick's post. I'll read it here for you guys. You can go check it out real fast. Then we'll get into my next point. And I quote: "Some pretty bad scores from @JebDunnick by Audrey Frick for Monterey Cellars. Additionally, Antonio Galoni will no longer review my wines. And for some reason, Vine Pair has never asked me for samples," with a little emoji of some sort. "Should I even care? Is the idea of scoring wine even relevant? Excellent question. Does one person's opinion lead you to buy a wine without tasting it? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And to be clear, the 100-point rating is actually a 13-point scale. 87 is as low as you can go. So a 90 is technically a D-. That's it. So, and he got some like 90 plus, 91. There's an 87 in there, 91, 87, 91, 87, 91, 90, 89, 91. Like that. Okay, cool. Like, good efforts, right? Good efforts. For what it's worth, good efforts. I've never had the wines. I couldn't tell you what I think about them. Those numbers are arbitrary. I could care less. I've told you my opinion on ratings. Like, those numbers mean nothing to me. I should go try the wines and figure out if I like them or not. I think this is, I appreciate his post from the standpoint of, because here's I got turned on to Patrick on this in the social sphere was another little kerfuffle that had happened, and actually, frankly, some people that didn't have the best opinions of him, and I was like, okay, well, I'll follow along and see if I can grab my bucket of popcorn and get a free show, I'll take it. And actually, there's been some really good content that he's put out. There's certainly been some things he said that I disagree with, and I know that other people disagree with, and that's fine. It's all good. And I appreciate the fact that he's going into this and he's kind of tackling this head on, because I know there are going to be some of his consumers that probably see those scores. There's going to be, I don't know what the cross-section of his mailing list or club or whatever is, what that cross-section looks like with Jeb Dunnick's mailing list and subscribers. Maybe it's a lot, maybe it's not. But it's like, okay, be introspective. Like, is it actually worth it? Because there was someone in the comments that I'm not going to bother to scroll through and find who it was, but they're like, basically, like, if you as a winemaker are making the wines that you want and you're proud of them, and I'll take it one step further, not only are you proud of them, but you are financially solvent in your business, you're doing fine. It doesn't matter what anyone has to say. You're doing great, right? That's fantastic. So the question of should I care or not, or should wines even be rated anymore? I mean, that's all based on how you want to conduct your marketing. I don't know how mad he was about this. I don't know if this really, was kind of like a thorn in the side. I do know that when Jeb chimed in and was like, hey, you can't post this because you're not a subscriber, or these are for subscribers only. I'm like, okay, he's trying to protect his IP. I get it. It's a little douchey, but I get it. Like, if you're going to be subscriber funded, you don't want people, sharing what is, behind your paywall. Fair enough. Like, fine. But that's when, it kind of ramped up, because then Patrick goes on and buys a subscription. I was like, okay, I bought your $250 subscription for the year. Now I can post whatever I want. And now he posted another Instagram thing, which I did think was hilarious. Where it was like, now I'm going to go on there and I'm going to every week or every few days or whatever, I'm going to pick a 100-point wine or this, and we're going to talk about it here. And if one of you guess it, maybe we'll do this. And it's just like, okay, like someone called BravoTV. Like this is about as like tit for tat as the wine industry gets. It's so dumb. You guys, it's so dumb. For those of you that watch Shoresy, I can't do that accent quite right, but oh my God, I think it's something like that. So dumb. Anyway, it's just, it's equally hilarious and like disappointing because of everything I've said before. It's like you cannot be mad at somebody's subjective opinion if you've asked for their subjective opinion. Like, you could not like it, but to air that dirty laundry out, it's like, okay, bro, like this is what you asked for. If you don't care about ratings anymore, stop submitting your fucking wines, man. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, that's it. I mean, I can tell you first, from the amount of sales we do on the road, in retail shops, in restaurants, when we're at Premier Napa Valley with everyone who's anybody in the wine buying world in the trade, I can tell you on literally less than one hand how many times we've been asked about scores in the last decade. It never happens. So whether it's Jeb or it's Antonio Galoni, Lisa Purdy Brown, the speculator or enthusiast or whatever, like, if those ratings help you because they're a good guidebook of finding new things, and that within a certain range you like it, like, all right, use them to your heart's delight. Understand that no one in the industry, especially on the winemaking side, gives a fuck. We don't care. We just don't. It's a great pat on the back where it's like okay, cool. It's a nice compliment. We're glad that you like the wine. It's not going to make or break your day. It's just not. When you've been in this business long enough, like, you have a very calloused mentality, and not callous, but like a callus, like on your hand, callus, right? Like a rough kind of like sturdy exterior. That's the weird way to say it. Because I've been told plenty of times that people don't like my wine. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen enough that you have to be like, okay, like, how do I approach this situation with grace in front of a consumer or someone in the trade who just doesn't like what we do? Shoot, I did that in St. Louis, like 2 months ago. Like, there's a guy there that just doesn't like what we do. And I didn't know we were going, I've been to that account once before, and I didn't know we were going back there until we pulled up. I'm like, oh, that's this guy, that's his place. Got it. And I was like, oh yeah, I don't think he likes me very much. And we had a fine interaction. It looked like he was having a tough morning, and he gave me the time of day, which was very kind. And we were cool. It was fine. But I'm like, when someone doesn't like my wine, I know when they do. Like, you can tell. It's not hard. And you just have to roll with it. Like, you can't just go down this rabbit hole. Now, for the clicks and the impressions, and for all of us that want to see this drama unfold, right, we're here for it. We're absolutely here for it, right? Because we're just like, oh God, what's next? Like, I'm excited. Like, I don't want any part of this as much as I'm talking about it right now on the airwaves. But like, I don't want to be involved, but I'll sit on the sideline and be like, yeah, get him. That's fine with me. Totally fine with me. I do think that the thing that does irk me, because the impression that I got, from this whole thing, is that you have someone that's feeding a system that they don't want to be feeding potentially, that's angry about what the system, spit out on the other end, and the stalwart in that machine, just saying, hey, this is how business is done. And this other person that's just mad about it and is now being a little, vindictive is not the right word, but, whatever. being mad about someone's subjective opinion is when it comes to art, like wine is. And again, I don't know Patrick, I haven't had the wines. I don't know how he views it coming from the Somm world, getting into winemaking. I mean, there's not a lot of people that have pulled that off well, because they're just two different career paths, period. Like you're an expert in different things. You have similar likes and interests, but very different career paths, right? So, he might be the artist who's like, this is bullshit. Why am I asking a critic's opinion? Like, this is just my art form and I want people to like it. And I hope they do. And maybe this is the epiphany for him. For Jeb, I mean, he gets paid to be a marketing agent and a wine critic. So, he's doing what he's doing, right? And that goes for, anyone that works there. I think I've actually met Virginia. Oh, no, I haven't. I'm thinking of somebody else then. I was looking at the other people that are part of his team because he has two other reviewers that work for him, Audrey and Virginia. But I knew of Virginia Boone, but that's not the same person. Huh, interesting. Maybe I'm just an idiot. I might be an idiot. Actually, I'm definitely an idiot. Take all that back, right? So, to put a little bow on this little thing, This is the beauty of the wine world, right? Is the subjectivity of it. Like, what you like is not what somebody else likes. When you get upset and take to the internet to be upset or air whatever frustration you have about the system, one, it's going to make for good content. You got that going for you. Everyone following, hopefully understands that. They definitely don't, but this is for clicks, this is for content, and maybe it is a way to vent a little bit. I know, like, I did that yesterday, posting my reel of like how crazy getting ready for bottling is being, and our construction going out, and I sometimes this is, I mean, it's why I love this show and why I keep doing it and why I've been doing it for more than 3 years, is because it is cathartic to get some of this stuff out, share some of these thoughts with you all, and for the most part, you all have been very positive about it. So it's like, all right, let's keep a good thing going. You know what I mean? It is. I'm very curious. I don't think any of this. I mean, this is the other thing, is that like this little tizzy on in the world of wine is not going to change anything. It might change, how Patrick and Monterey do things, because they can affect that change right away. They can just say, okay, like, Galoni won't taste my wines anymore. These people haven't wanted to try my wines. Like, this guy clearly doesn't like them. So we're just going to stop doing this. Right? Let's stop feeding the monster that we don't like. Right? That's probably the big takeaway. Outside of that, grab your bucket of popcorn, because I can't wait to see see how this goes. It's going to be so much fun. Oh my gosh. So this is where how I understand, like, why the HBIC loves her BravoTV, because she's like, I just love the drama, or it makes me feel good because of how awful these people are. That's her always excuse with Bravo Television in particular. She's like, oh, I feel better as a person because of how awful these people are. And I'm on the other side saying, I feel sad for humanity because these people are doing what they're doing. Like, this is terrible. This is the worst. And now I'm stuck in between of like, I want to see a little bit more of the drama, because I guess it's more relevant to me in the industry, I suppose. That probably makes some semblance of sense. Except Below Deck's pretty good. I will say that Below Deck's pretty good. The June Hannah phase was a fun time. It was a good time had by all, right? I think we all enjoyed that. No notes. It was perfect. So we'll see. This is, again, is not going to do anything to change the wine industry. I think for those of you who want to see how some of these little kerfuffles and things happen within our world, this is a great example of it. And we'll see how it plays out. It's going to be nothing else. It's going to be entertaining, hopefully. Anyway. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Wind Up Podcast. I'll be back next time to continue the conversation. Until then, be sure to like and subscribe to the show. Follow us on our social networks. That's YouTube, Instagram, The Book of Face, and the social network formerly known as Twitter. The handle for all those is at MTGA Wines. Submit topics for the show on our website. That's mtgawines.com. Just scroll down to the bottom of that homepage and you'll see the form to fill out and submit questions our way. Until next time, have a great day, week, weekend, month, whatever the case may be, and we'll see you next time here on the Wind Up Podcast. Cheers.